Good morning. It's Monday, February 9th, and this is Ryan Ferns from the West Virginia State Senate providing my video update. And I'm actually going to have to go back and rehash the high points of last week's legislative session. I ran out of time just about every day last week due to committee meetings that ran late into the evening. And so, as I mentioned, I'm going to hit on all the high points, particularly noting the things that are relevant to the Northern Panhandle and the things that I've noticed have been commented upon on our Facebook page. And so we'll start off with Monday, February 2nd of last week. And I'm gonna skip through to about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. We had Linda McNeil, who's the mayor of New Cumberland, who came down, and I'd actually arranged a meeting between her, myself, Secretary Maddox from the Department of Highways, and most of the Northern Panhandle delegation. And she had concerns about the proposed plans for Route 2 through New Cumberland, and Secretary Maddox explained to us that nothing has been set in stone yet. There's about 5 different plans available, but no plan has been chosen yet at this point. And so there's additional things that we have to go through in that process, but I appreciate the mayor coming down and taking the time to bring us all up to speed on what's going on that project and to get clarification from the secretary. Skip forward here. Then on Tuesday morning we had our Northern Panhandle Caucus, which I've mentioned here before, is all the senators and delegates from the Northern Panhandle getting together talking about issues that are particularly important to us in the North. And we had some folks from Southwest Energy, which you may have heard has purchased some of the assets from Chesapeake Energy, particularly in our area, and have plans to begin drilling, horizontal drilling in our area. And so they came to us, told us a little bit about their company, the things that they plan to do on the community level, that I think will be beneficial to us. And so that was very helpful for them to come down and explain those things to us. And then at 9:30 we had the mayor of Wellsburg, Sue Simonetti, who met with myself and Delegate Weld, who's the new delegate from Brooke County, and just went over all the issues that are important to her in the city of Wellsburg and the things that we need to be aware of here in the legislature to help out with that. Then at 1 o'clock we had our Health and Human Resources Committee meeting, and we had Senate Bill 286, which I know has raised a lot of attention from a lot of folks. It's been big in the media, particularly because of the measles outbreaks in primarily in Southern California, and I think there's been a lot of misinformation about the bill. For some reason, it's become part of a partisan politics, and the misinformation seems to be getting progressively worse as time goes on. Just to give everyone an update, that bill has been altered by myself after meetings with the Bureau for Public Health. We've taken the religious exemptions out of that. We're now just looking at correcting the medical exemption process, which I believe the Bureau for Public Health and all interested parties have agreed that has not been an efficient system for our state. Anyway, that is the issue on the bill right now. We took the bill up in committee. There were some last-minute changes that were requested by some of the interested parties. Some of the members on the committee said they'd like to have more time to review those changes, and so I decided to lay that bill over for a future meeting. And I think we'll probably take that up at some point this week. And then at 2 o'clock on our Government Organization Committee, actually carried on through most of the evening. We had Senate Bill 361, which is repealing sections of the code relating to prevailing wage. We had a lot of union members from all over the state, and I think even from other states that came in to voice their concerns about that. We had speakers from both sides, both folks who were for and against it in committee meeting, and then we ultimately passed that bill out. And as I've met with later this week, folks from the Northern Panhandle, union members as well as union representatives, explained to them that the goal and objective of our leadership team here in the Senate was to pass that bill out, allow it to be debated amongst the full Senate. And I think that many of our leadership team were here over the weekend working with all interested parties and trying to find a good compromise on that bill. So I'll continue to give you updates, but that's where we're at on it right now. As I mentioned, then Wednesday morning had groups, union members from the Northern Panhandle, I had several large groups. I appreciate them taking the time out to come down and talk to me about that issue. 3 o'clock in the afternoon, we had the Judiciary Committee, and one of the bills I think would be of particular interest was related to nonpartisan election of judges. We were able to pass that bill out. And we also had House Bill 2002, which was predicating actions for damages upon principles of comparative fault. We passed that bill out as well with an amendment. And then on the Senate floor that day, we had a bill that I think is of particular interest to the Northern Panhandle, Senate Bill 323, which relates to home rule, which the city of Wheeling was one of the first cities in the state to participate in the home rule. They've benefited greatly from it, I believe. And I think as we continue to add the smaller towns and cities to the list included in home rule, I think it will alleviate some of the problems that I've heard that, of concern to some of the smaller towns, particularly dilapidated buildings and how to address those. Right now, a lot of the folks don't have the authority to address that issue adequately, and I think as we continue to expand that successful program, you'll be able to see some relief in that way. Thursday, February 5th, was Hospital Day here at the legislature. As chairman of the Health Committee, I spoke to a group of Hospital Association folks from all around the state Thursday morning, and then later on in the morning we had folks from Ohio Valley Medical Center came and talked to me about how some of these issues affect the hospitals in our area. And then appropriately at 1 o'clock in the afternoon we had 3 bills on our Health Committee agenda, Senate Bill 398, 399, and 400, all pertaining to hospitals, and you can take a look at those. We passed 398 and 399. Senate Bill 400 we've actually laid over. There was some debate on it and some questions that were left unanswered, so we've laid that over. I did have some questions raised to me on our Facebook page about that bill. I've responded to those questions, and I think it cleared up some concerns that folks had. If you have any further questions, please don't hesitate to shoot me a message on there. At 2 o'clock, we had the Government Organization Committee, Senate Bill 60, which is restructuring how food handler permits are given. Right now, it's on a county-by-county basis, and the suggestion was if you receive a food handler permit in one county, that it be acceptable for all counties throughout the state. That was something that the folks at the Hyde County Board of Health reached out to me. They thought would be beneficial. We were able to pass that bill, and so then at 2:45, I was fortunate to have a meeting with Ryan Eldredge from Channel 9. I appreciate him driving all the way to Charleston. I know he did a great coverage from all of our delegation and senators and the Northern Panhandle, as well as the governor's office, the attorney general. And I think that's something that's not been done a lot in the past. I appreciate Ryan taking the time out and come down and talk to us. I actually spoke to him again this morning on the issues that we have coming up this week. So hopefully that we'll continue to get great coverage like that of what's going on here in session. At 3 o'clock in the afternoon, we had Senate Bill 357, which is Creating Coal Jobs and Safety Act of 2015. It was a considerable amount of debate. I think this is going to be a great bill for all the folks in the coal industry to help them. In most parts of the state, that industry is struggling, and it's a very extensive bill. If you have any questions about it, I'm happy to elaborate. I'm trying to keep things moving for time constraints. Okay, then on Friday I had a meeting with Dr. Gupta, who is our state health officer. As I mentioned, Senate Bill 286, we've continued to make changes throughout. Dr. Gupta came in and his attorney came in and made suggestions on what they feel like might be some appropriate language to add into that bill. So we're looking over that now and considering adding that in for this week. I think that covers it for last week. I'm going to try to get back on schedule and switch actually to an early morning shooting of these video updates in order to not miss any if we go into late committee meetings. So again, if you have questions, please post them on our Facebook page, and I'll try to keep you updated as the week goes on. Thank you.